Look like the war is stepping up, y'all. Russia is now going to get help from China and Iran in their fight against Ukraine. So look like the fight is expanding. Now the US has warned China, you better not supply this and supply that, as they are supplying Ukraine. I mean, go figure. The I have the right to tell you not to do what I'm doing. Do as I say, not as I do. Let me remind you that doesn't work. And as you can see, it's not working in this instance either. So let's get into it. So they're trying to call these folks autocrats. Just remember who's writing the story. So Russia is now receiving military equipment and help from China and also Iran. So Russia is no longer fighting Ukraine alone. Alongside its soldiers are African conscripts supported by Iranian drones and partly funded by stolen gold and diamonds. They may soon be joined by a lethal support from China as well. This is according to US officials. So, they're watching what's going on. And, you've been helping Ukraine all this time, but you don't want Russia to get help from anybody. You know how unrealistic you sound? That's very unrealistic. So, for these vital contributions, Russian President Vladimir Putin can thank his fellow autocrats and he's returning this favor. So, they're trying to say, it's taking its toll on Russia. You know how it is the entire time. They're trying to tell you that Russia's losing until the truth finally came out and they were not winning. And plus, you got to watch the actions of people. One thing I do know in life, people that are winners are not beggars. If you're winning, you're not begging. Okay. But somebody losing, a loser will beg, but not a winner. Just watch the actions, not the words of what people say. So, despite the invasion's heavy toll, the resources, yeah, I mean, the resources would be a problem on both sides. That's why Vladimir Putin is always demanding more and more stuff, no matter how much you send him. He's always in the forefront begging for more. So don't be surprised if as we go along, it's going to be more than Iran and China helping Russia. This is just the beginning. All right. It's starting to form into something more worldwide. So they, are talking about the sanctions. Remember, they threw all these sanctions on Russia, trying to starve them out. And Russia don't even look like they missed a beat all this time when the West, along with Europe, tried their best to throw all these sanctions. And yeah, Russia ultimately is the most sanctioned country in the world, but they're still moving along. In fact, they were making gains after all of the sanctions, and then they kept saying, "Well, just wait, give it time, give it time." Okay, we gave it time. Now what? Now what's the reason? You know, that's why you got to really listen to these folks with a grain of salt for real. So they made the attempt to slam them with sanctions, and Russia don't seem to be any different. If it is, it's very hard to see what those differences are before the sanctions and after the sanctions. That's all I'm saying. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got to tell me what you think about this. Now, Putin got people on his side, and wow. So they're saying, but this is back in 2014, so I'm not going to get heavily into that. But Russia is really in better standing with Africa because it goes into Africa and things like that. But Russia is really in better standing in Africa than the US and even China. They really are. So, what do y'all think about Iran and China now is going to supply the Russians as they continue on with their fight within Ukraine? How do y'all feel about this? I mean, is it expected? I always kind of knew China was going to get involved one way or another. I just didn't know how or when, but I knew they were going to get involved. And really, at the end of the day, what is the US going to do? You're going to do something to the nation that you owe a big debt to, China? Okay. And then you owe this big debt to them, but you're going to tell them what to do. Let me know when you come step back into the real world, okay? And not out in this euphoria that you're in. So, please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.